Students, good morning. Welcome to the official channel of Woodbine Modern School. This is your biology class of class 12th, chapter 3, human reproduction, and it's lecture number 1. Introduction. So I have listed here all the sequences by which we will proceed in this chapter. First is humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. Sexually reproducing. What does this mean? This means that the organisms which produces offspring with the help or with the fusion of gametes, they are known as sexually reproducing. This viviparous, what does this viviparous means? This means that organisms which produces baby are called viviparous. There is another term called oviparous. What does oviparous means? Oviparous means the organisms which lay eggs are known as oviparous. So we know that human produces baby. So we are what? We are viviparous. The reproductive events in humans include these particular events. So first event is what we will study is gametogenesis. That means formation of gametes. What are gametes? So gametes are basically those cells which fuses to form a cell called zygote. Okay. So gametogenesis means what? Formation of gametes. In case of humans, gametogenesis have formation of gametes, and the gametes are sperm in case of male and ovum in case of female. What is insemination? Insemination simply means insertion, that is transfer of sperms into female genital tract. Transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. So basically, students, we have seen that if there is a formation of gametes, then afterwards it has to meet so that it can form the zygote. So for the mating, it has to have the transfer process. So the sperm will travel from male genital tract to the female genital tract. Why? Because ovum is situated in the female genital tract. So here the sperm will travel to the female genital tract so that it can fuse with ovum. So this process of fusion is known as fertilization. So what is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gametes. Simply, fertilization means what? The fusion of male and female gametes. So in case of humans, the fusion of sperms and ovum is known as fertilization. And due to this fusion, there is a formation of zygote. Zygote is what? Zygote is a single cell that will gradually form into a fully matured baby. Next is what? Implantation. Implantation means we are implanting something, means we are putting something in attached to a wall or something, to a wall or to a support. So implantation means what? Formation and development of blastocyst. Blastocyst is what? Blastocyst is simply a mass of cells which will gradually form a mature baby, and the attachment of this blastocyst to the uterine wall. This is very important, students, because attachment of blastocyst is required as baby is not having all the organs so that it can get the nourishment. So to get the nourishment or the nutrition, it requires this uterine wall so that it can get the nutrition from mother. Now next is gestation. So gestation period is what? Embryonic development. So the process of embryonic development is known as gestation. This includes the formation of fully mature baby from zygote. So first the zygote, then there will be a stage of blastocyst, then there will be a formation of embryo, and then further the embryo will develop and form into a fully matured baby. Now next is what? Parturition and lactation. Parturition is simply means the delivery of the baby. As we know that the duration of gestation in human is 9 months. So after 9 months there will be a process of parturition by which the mother will give birth to a baby, and then there will be a process of lactation, means feeding milk. The process of feeding milk to the baby, a newly formed baby, is known as lactation. So students, this is the flow chart of all the events which we will be studying in further slides about human reproduction, and these all are the events which takes place one after the other and leads to the formation of sexual reproduction. So first we will study about male reproductive system. So we will get to know about the male reproductive system, like what we have in male reproductive system, what are the organs constituted in the male reproductive system. So first is seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is simply situated here somewhere in the region nearby to the ureter. Then there is a urinary bladder. See students, there are some of the organs which are actually a part of excretory system but are listed here because in case of male reproductive system, the passage is same for the urination as well as for the semen release. So we will particularly focus on the organs which are actually related with the male reproductive system. So first is the male reproductive system is located in the pelvis region. So this region is called the pelvis region. It includes a pair of testes. Here students, we can see a single testis because another one is lying behind this testis. Okay. So, and along with some accessory ducts. Accessory ducts, like I have told you about the seminal vesicle, vas deferens, these are all the accessory ducts. Accessory ducts are those ducts which are not themselves take part in the male reproductive system, but they are assist in the process of male reproduction. So next is the testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. So this pouch is known as scrotum, which is situated outside the abdominal cavity. So in humans, or you can say precisely in male, the reproductive system is situated or protruding out from the abdominal cavity. So next, why this is situated, it has a cause because the scrotum helps in maintaining the lower temperature of the testis. Lower temperature means what? Approximately 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius temperature lower down than the normal body temperature. This means what? That the scrotum, or you can say this is the scrotal sac. This particular sac has a lower temperature than our normal body temperature. 2 to 3 degree lower temperature is required for the formation of sperm, because if the temperature rises, the sperm will not be able to survive. That's why it need to have in the scrotum. Next is the penis is the male. This is a penis and it is the external genital tract, and it is made up of special tissue which helps in the process of erection. So students, the penis doesn't have an erectile position when it is normally situated. It got erected when it has the process, or when it have the formation, or during the process of sexual or coitus. And then the next is glans penis. So this is penis, and lower down that, and there are broad region you can see. So this broad region is known as glans penis, and the skin which is covered here, the glans penis is being covered with this skin known as foreskin. The male accessory glands include paired seminal vesicle, as I have told you that seminal vesicle is a paired gland. And then we have prostate gland, as you can see here, this is the prostate gland, and paired bulbourethral gland. So here we have three types of glands. First is seminal vesicle, then we have prostate, and then we have bulbourethral. And we will be get to know about these glands function one by one. Next is the secretion of these glands constitute the seminal plasma. So these all glands, we already know that the glands are used, or glands have a function to produce several hormones which are very much essential for our body. So here seminal vesicle also secrete some secretions which helps in the formation of semen, and this prostate also secretes some of the hormones or the secretions which helps in the formation of semen, and bulbourethral gland also secretes. So these three glands combinedly form some of the hormones or secretions which provides nourishment to the sperms which are present in the semen, and also provide lubrication. Secretions of these glands constitute the seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium, and certain enzymes. The secretion of this bulbourethral gland, this the small one, helps in lubrication of the penis. So what does this lubrication of penis means? This means that when this penis enters in the female genital tract, so it may cause a friction. As we know that when two surfaces come in contact with each other, there is a friction. So maybe there is a chances of blood vessel rupture. So to avoid this rupture, there is a formation of lubrication, because if we apply a lubricant on anything, it will ease. As we have seen that we use greasing, we used to do grease of grills or everything to just ease the movement. So just to have, or just to ease the movement during the sexual intercourse, we need to have a lubrication. So that lubrication is being given by this bulbourethral gland. And as I have told that there is a presence of sucrose in the semen. This sucrose is very much important because fructose, there is a presence of fructose in the semen. Why this fructose is important? Because this fructose not only provide nutrition to the sperm, but this fructose is also an indication of during the rapes. If we see the rape victims being tested, the doctors, or in medical term, they used to test this presence of fructose. If there is a presence of fructose in the female genital tract, then the rape cases, or you can say the intercourse, is being confirmed. So these all the points which I have discussed earlier, I have listed it down. So students, you can pause the video and you can note one by one whichever point you feel like related. So moving on to the next, this is the more you can say internal section of the testis. So now you can see that one testis I have shown it dissected and the other one is intact. So first we'll focus with the dissected one. So it has a testicular lobules. Testicular lobules means what? Lobules means we denote it with a part. So whenever the term use lobules means what? This is a part of any big organ. So testis is an organ and lobules, or you can say the lobes. So you can see this dissected lobes. So testicular lobules, because these lobules are of what? Testis. So testicular lobules. Then we have situated retitestis. So just above this testicular lobules we have retitestis. Retitestis are triangular in shape. Then we have vasa efferentia. There are small pipes which is being emerged from retitestis and it will lead to the epididymis. This students, you can see this protruding out structure. This is known as epididymis. So in epididymis, after that, what we have? We have this vasa deferens. This vas deferens will go and meet with the seminal vesicle. This vas deferens will go and meet to the seminal vesicle. After that, prostate gland is situated. After that, bulbourethral is situated, and this seminal vesicle or this vasa deferens will straight go and meet with the penis. So now this penis will have finally glans penis, and then there is a opening, and this opening we urethral, known as urethral meatus. Okay, so why these all organs, or why this all parts are very important? Because to know the passage of a sperm. So first, the sperm is being formed in the testis, or you can say testicular lobules. Then from testicular lobules it passes to the rete testis. Then through the rete testis it goes to the vasa efferentia. Then from vasa efferentia it goes to the epididymis, and from epididymis it goes to the vas deferens, and from vas deferens to seminal vesicle. And in the seminal vesicle part, or usually in the epididymis part, the semen comes and wait for what? Wait for the signal that is there any requirement to have a sexual intercourse or not. If the brain gets this signal that there is a need of sexual intercourse, then this get released here, and the semen will come out of the penis. So now we will move on to the next. So these again are the points which I have discussed in the previous figure. You can read out from here. If you find any difficulty, you can come and contact in the comment section. Now this is a very important figure regarding the testis. You can see this is the diagrammatic sectional view of seminiferous tubules. Okay. So what does the seminiferous tubules have? We will see. So in testis or in seminiferous tubules, we have two very important cells, that is interstitial cells and Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells are also known as nursing cells. So with the name we suggest, name suggests that nursing cells means what? To nurse or to care. To nurse or care whom? To nurse or care to the spermatozoa. Spermatozoa is another term which we use for sperms. So the nourishment to the spermatozoas or to the sperms. So now what is spermatogonia? Spermatogonia are those cells. You can see these all are spermatogonia. So testis is being lined with the spermatogonia. So spermatogonia are the cells which produces these spermatozoas, and these spermatozoa will go and find the nourishment with the Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells will provide the nourishments required. And now you can see within this pink region there is the cells which are being situated called as interstitial cells. The interstitial cells are what? These cells are simply situated and they function to produce the androgens, or you can say the male sexual hormones. Why these male sexual hormones are important? Male sexual hormones have a function. They have a function to give the indication that is there any need to produce a sperm or not. For example, our body can't afford to produce sperms, millions of sperms being produced. So it needs to have a signal. Is there any requirement to have or to secrete sperm or not? So this we will get through this interstitial cells. So basically they work as a signal. They receive the signal from the brain. Is there any requirement to produce sperm? And if they say, if they feel like yes, there is a requirement, then they will tell this spermatogonia cells, okay, now you can form or now you can produce the sperms. Now the sperms being produced, and these sperms will further get nourishment with the Sertoli cells. So students, this is all about what we need to know regarding the male reproductive system. This is all about lecture 1 from our side. We will meet in the lecture number 2 where we will discuss about female reproductive system. Thank you.